Hello and welcome to the East Lampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded using the township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
Okay, good evening. I will call the April 14th meeting of the East Lampeter Township Planning Commission to order. I'm assuming we don't have anybody on Zoom this evening. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, they moved it for 30 years. Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's on our toes.
We all turned that way. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, commission members are John Thompson is absent on our far left. I'd like to introduce John Blowers. He is filling the unexpired term of Jansen, who had to resign because he left, relocated outside the township. Sarah Ryder to my right, Ryan Martin, Jacob Bowen is our Director of Community Planning, and our zoning officer, and Leo Butz is our administrative assistant, and I'm Randy Patterson, the chair this evening. So we will, John, did you want to say anything? You're back in a different capacity.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Whatever I can do to help.
Thank you for, some of these will be familiar to you. So approval, you received in your packets by email the March 10th, 2026 minutes. Actually, I think Ryan and I are the only two here who have actually attended that meeting. Does anyone see any corrections? There's one small typo that I'm going to get to. Use the word spoken, but other than that, I think it basically covered the conversation on Devon Creek. Well, if no other changes, motion to approve.
Motion is to approve the minutes from March 10th.
Any further conversation? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. You have no old business this evening, so we'll move to new business. The first item of new business is Land Development Plan 2026-03. Land Development Plan for High Foundation at 700 Greenfield Road. Before we begin, two items. Ryan's firm works with the High Foundation, doing some PR work and things like that, but he's not an employee of the High Foundation. He's not on the board of the foundation, but we wanted to declare that a conflict or association, but he'll still participate. And I am a member of the church right next door to 750 Greenfield Road, and we were part of the land sale to the High Foundation. I do not serve on church council or anybody involved in the project, so I wanted to declare that I too will participate in the conversation. So, you would introduce yourself, please. Give a brief overview of the project. We have two people who haven't been a party to any of the conversation on 750 Greenfield Road to date. So if you could just review a little bit of the history and then go through the end of water.
Sure. Good evening, Chris Vanarchik with RGS Associates, land planning firm in Lancaster. Here tonight, as you pointed out, to talk about our Greenfield Road project. The prior address was 750 Greenfield Road, so it is just, I guess, technically within the business park, Greenfield there. And the subdivision plan was processed through the township, was required, had split that from the church property. The subject track we're talking about tonight is the newly created lot, now 700 Greenfield. And what's on display on the screen there is the project. That's a heavily illustrative plan that I just conceptualizing with high, so I figured, well, I can use that for the meeting this evening to help visualize what they're trying to accomplish out there. So along the bottom of the screen would be Greenfield Road. The church would be just positioned to the east on the screen where the images are there, the sample images of what they're trying to achieve. So the project, the subject tract is 3.6 acres, again, in that BP Business Park zoning district in the township. And the high foundation is just looking out in the future there and trying to look at what that might look like. And they're looking at an 8,900 square foot building at this point in the programming is what we show there, adding some additional parking, and then of course the stormwater management associated with that. So the property, subject tract today is basically open field. I think there's a structure down in the northwest corner near the pond. That's like a little, it's like type area, I think. So what we're proposing, again, you see the entrance off of Greenfield Road on the west or left side of the screen would be a new driveway. And then the one you can just kind of see there where the images are to the bottom there is the existing driveway to the church, which is then shared. Parking for the property, there was an agreement that was executed between the church and the High Foundation for shared parking. Recognizing that on a day-to-day occurrence, we're going to be nowhere near meeting the parking requirement or meeting the parking that's been provided. But when they do have like a fundraising event or something like that, they would use that as shared parking for the property and the project. As far as stormwater management goes, the property does drain towards the north, towards that pond that's up in the northwest corner of the site, the existing pond. And what we did is instead of doing a conventional stormwater management design, it was very important to have something that was more aesthetic, more like naturalistic. So what we have there, you can see kind of like that tan colored area. It's a series of very shallow pools, if you will. They won't always hold water. I think they're around 8 inches to a foot in depth, so it's not really stormwater. Rather, almost like a rain garden area. You manage that stormwater through a series of depressions and then ultimately discharge it to the northwest where that stormwater is going today. Sewer and water, typical public connections through ELSA or sewer, and then the city of Lancaster for water. So as far as the status on where we're at, we have submitted the application for an NPDES permit to the Conservation District. Have received an admin complete on that, so we're just trying to do this overview. Sewer and water, again, we've been through reviews on those, or actually we have been on these earlier from there to review, but I don't anticipate issues. Again, it's a lateral connection. An overview, LCPC did receive the application, but they had no comments on it. That was from their March 3rd review. And then we did supply the plan to the police, the fire, and the local EMS. No comments from police, no comments or issues from EMS. Fire, we haven't heard anything there. I pointed out, we have 10 EMA. Very clean. I mean, it's where we want projects to be. There was only, I think, one technical comment at the very end.
I'll just interrupt you. I just want to clarify for the board that I did not get your April 10th letter in your hard copy there. I just didn't want them to get confused there. So you guys had the digital packet was in there, but I didn't quite get it out in time for your print packet. So just to make sure they didn't get confused. They were supplied it with their digital packets, but so they had the February 25th one in front of them.
Okay.
So just to clarify.
Yeah. And to offer explanation on that, we were in touch with DMA. There was some confusion on some of the information they provided. I guess they may have just overlooked it. So we just thought, hey, I did this in my application. We did no problem issuing. But yeah, the only technical comment, just some additional detail on a pavement, detail to add in specifications for that along. So we get very clean. We're seeking recommendation on approval for the project. We do have modifications that are associated with the application. I'd say pretty common ones, you know, when we're asking for plan. Scale, that's just for legibility on meet. The third had to do with the amount of information shown beyond the property, and we have support from all the modifications from DMA for that modification or waiver. dedication of Park and Rec, that was a modification in talking with High. They felt like they have gone above and beyond in terms of what they've done with the township with providing open spaces and recreation. So that's something I wanted to discuss with the township.
Have you had any additional conversation with the township?
Minimum pipe cover was then the last one. And then again, we have support from DMA. We provided information that shows the products being proposed can handle the loads and the cover that's provided. So, a quick overview. Happy to get into more detail if you have questions on the project.
No issues related to the comments and subdivision land development. It stated no comments from the Lake County Planning Department. Other than the questions, comments related to the plan.
I have a question about the mandatory dedication of land. So how much land was required to be dedicated that you're asking for a modification?
And slot, is it 144? 600? So
I believe it's the majority, it's your disturbance areas, it's pretty much the whole. Oh, sorry, the exact amount to be dedicated. Yeah, I can't remember the exact amount, but it's based on like the whole lot, percent. Yeah, it was definitely 0.0 something. I double checked that.
So it's pretty minimal.
Yeah.
I don't know the figure though.
But it would be for the fee would be in the teens for the thousands.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact, and I did the math, but we still have to update actually our fee for 2026. That has to go to the board, so it's gonna change a little bit, somewhere between like 12, 15,000, what that fee would be.
So does the township have, do you know if the township has a view on this?
So that's something that, that the applicant will have to have a discussion with the board.
Okay.
From the staff side, we have concerns with that because then if we look at the park and rec fee, any nonprofit then can consider not having a park and rec fee. But again, that's gonna be something the board is gonna have to really kind of ponder, because right now there's an exemption for just, I believe, the schools for the park and rec fee. So it doesn't include all tax exempt organizations.
So would that be justification, or is it the fact that like Pi itself has done a lot for? I'm just curious what the,
Sure. In my dialogue with them, it was really about them considering themselves a significant contributor in the township with like open spaces. They referenced when I was in dialogue with them, how they hold the events across, what is that? William Penn. Space area. Yeah, all kinds of events that are open to the public, concerts and so forth, just encouraging that outdoor activity, the walking trails they put in, which wasn't really required, it was just something they felt they wanted to contribute to the township.
And that's something the board can consider if they decide to waive that or not.
so do we comment on that or we don't comment on that?
That's what I was going to state of you, the recommendation that planning commission suggests that the waiver not be granted.
That's really kind of for you to decide if you're comfortable with that. If you have a feeling either way.
My experience would tell me that the Board of Supervisors will certainly consider what the Planning Commission has to say. I think they will take that and staff's recommendations, but they're going to definitely hear from the applicant.
And there are walking paths immediately around this track.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do know in the past for Greenfield North, Pi was granted, basically the fees were waived for looking at their existing park plan, things like that. So I think the previous board, 'cause it is a different board of supervisors now, 2 different members, but they did have a discussion where it was kind of basically used up your exemptions from that, but there is new things that High has done that the board will consider.
I think from a planning commission point of view, I'm always cognizant of setting precedents that carry forward to other organizations where we're not making a decision, we're making a recommendation. And the decision maker will then decide at the end of the day. So just keep that in mind as we move forward with the conversation. Other questions or comments on the plan that's presented?
Just Mr. Chairman, if I can, just an affirmation of LCPC's remarks, Chris. Appreciate seeing the parking combined with Good Shepherd next door, just to see us trying to use, some of the existing, impervious, we've got to fill much and, something that, on the Board of Supervisors, we were always looking for ways to try to decrease any more, impervious. I've been to functions at the High Foundation now, and there's 2 cars in the parking lot most days of the week. And when there's an event, a function, in this case, they can use just Good Shepherd next door. So just, again, encouraging that. I appreciate LCPC calling that out. So.
Yeah, I guess as a member of the church, I would say, while we're sharing a portion of that parking lot, there are other parking spaces on the church that are unused for an event. Or we will be working together with High Foundation. So.
Are there Mr. Chairman, are there connecting paths to the apartments, Chris? No.
There's so if I think I'm following right, I think they call it reserve.
The reserve,
Just northeast on the plan.
yeah.
On this plan, we're not proposing any kind of like pedestrian connection to that. There is an existing channel that runs parallel with that northern property line that we would have to go over, which certainly could be done. But no, it wasn't a programming item that they ever discussed.
There is a sidewalk along Greenfield and Pitney.
Correct.
That connects to the reserve, that connects to that walking path. So you have to cross Pitney to get to the other piece of the path.
And there's a path between the reserve and Good Shepherd.
There's not because of the
What?
channel.
Picturing-
Oh, yeah.
Picturing a mechanical path, there's no.
Path runs from down at the corner of Pitney and Millcross, runs up through the.
Kind of see it with the planning.
Yep. Other questions or comments? If not, I'll look for a motion related to Land Development Plan 2026-03. Fifth, 2026 letter from DNA. Any comments you want to make regarding the request of the application of land, fee and use of.
Should we reference, Jacob, the newest letter that we don't have here?
Just reviewed the February 25th. I think you could recommend on that letter because it's common where I do get updated letters between what your recommendation is given and the board has, and we just give them the additional letter. So.
Make a motion that we approve Land Development Plan 2026-03, High Foundation, 700 Greenfield Road, with per the DMA letter of February 25. With all items under modifications and waivers, zoning, subdivision, and land development as presented, stormwater management as presented, with an understanding that the Board of Supervisors will be having a discussion with the applicant for fee and lieu of.
Second. Second, and so any further conversation, final conversation, any questions from the public? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. To our second item of new business, which is Development Plan 2026-07. This is submitted by Fenmore Homes Clubhouse at 35 South Willowdale Drive. And just note that the letter, I looked out, yeah.
Thank you. This one, I think, most of the project, the Rockville project, Why I'm here tonight is specifically about the area. You guys know that the parcel 2, which would be just off of South Willoughby Road on the west side, there are 28 multifamily apartments, shown on the screen there to the left, is under construction. And Fernmore Homes is really eager to move into parcel 5, which will be across the street, just south of where I have that kind of area in red outline. But as you're probably aware, we have sewer upgrade project associated with parcel 5. Or we can move forward with 5 and add additional, and get that sewer upgrade approved, constructed to create capacity for the sewer. So in the meantime, even though the clubhouse as depicted there was approved on that parcel 5 land development plan, NVDA permit, all that already obtained. I'm just kind of sitting, waiting for that sewer upgrade. So Fernmore, it was very important to them to be able to provide the clubhouse to the residents that are in the 128 units. Eventually, when those get built, we wanted to provide that amenity to those folks. So you can see we'll have a swimming pool just behind the building. There is a plan to then expand that with pickleball and so forth, other amenities. But at least he thought, let's get the clubhouse built. So you can see that shown there with some parking. That's all consistent. Basically, it's just kind of cut out an area from parcel 5, extracted that, made it its own separate land development plan. So that you get it. So you get in working with the staff for at least a year, it was determined that sewer for the clubhouse, so no reason it could be extracted out of parcel 5 plan, just move that forward. Water would continue with the city of Lancaster. I mentioned NPDS has already been paying for that work. We did update the conservation district just to make them aware that, hey, there'll be a separate plan set out there. So making sure that they're not caught off guard with that. We sent the form to them and made sure there wasn't some official of anything that defined as a field change, and there's nothing changing, it's just a different plan. As far as status on that one, the LCPC reviewed the plan, the application. That was also a 3.3.6 letter. Again, no comments on that. Being of police, EMS, fire plans are supplied to them without issue of comment there. As far as just about the project itself, the clubhouse as shown there is about 200 square feet. Just the northwest area show essentially that an aesthetic or decorative feature pond, that's the entrance there, and then just some of the associated. The review letter we have from DMA is dated April 7th. That too has some modifications associated with it, and then the balance of the zoning and subdivisions. They had any technical comment, even with certificate signature. Yeah, and approval with the board. I'm happy to walk through the modification.
Just touch on the since the recommendation there is.
So that's where, because we're finally creating a new land development plan, the lot that the clubhouse is on has frontage on Rockville Road. To be thorough, we wanted to make sure that we had the modification there, because your ordinance would say, hey, you have to improve the frontage of Rockville Road. That was actually already addressed on the parcel 5 plan through the streetscape plan. So we'll have the streetscape come down, go across Rockville and back up to the north. So nothing's changing there, but because that sidewalk is not shown on this specific plan, we thought we should ask for the modification.
So you don't have an issue with the language of the DMA letter?
No, it's just making sure, like, I know, I suppose the township would have the ability, like, let's say parcel 5 never develops and they never build a multifamily or multifamily buildings. I suppose the township would have the ability to say, hey, we want you to put that path down along Rockville. In the modification, the condition is saying, when you do that, because it's outside of you put pedestrian.
Just for the commission's benefit, the drawings we have do not show those buildings because they don't exist yet.
Correct.
So what you see on the drawing are actually the retail buildings and parking lots of the retail buildings that are still.
Yeah, all helpful is. Yeah, just that area in red is essentially the plan.
Questions or comments from the planning commission members? For the public. Hearing none. I will look for a motion on land development plan 2020. 2026-07 for Fenmore Homes Clubhouse at 35 South Willow. Related to the April 7th DMA letter, the planning, master planning department letter of March 25th, even though there were no.
I'll make a motion on number 2026-07 land development plan for Fernmore Homes Clubhouse at 35 South Willowdale Drive. I make a motion that we recommend that the Board of Supervisors approve this land development plan consistent with, in accordance with this April 7th, 2026 DMA letter, with all the waivers and modifications granted, with the exception of number 6 being granted with the condition that a pedestrian access easement be provided. And then otherwise consistent with this letter and also consistent with the Lancaster County Planning Department letter dated. Yeah, March 3rd, 2026, even though that doesn't. So it probably doesn't need to be mentioned.
I'll second it.
Second from Ryan. Any final conversation, discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Thank you. Our third item of new business is item 2026-10, which is a request for a waiver of land development plan. Nothing about it. Baseball, 15 Dono Drive. You introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Mike, resident of CDBA. Apologize, I did not know we could submit. Here. This history, would you guys like to know? Because I apologize to most of the people that had 50 emails go back. You guys need to know the very beginning from back in the fall and this is what we're trying to do here.
So the meetings are recorded for the general public. It would be good to have as a synopsis of that.
So, what's Silver Valley Baseball Association president, I'm gonna call it last fall. We used to store our equipment in the snack stand there at Ford Park. Obviously I worked in a restaurant business when I was younger, when I was 14. I think I was one of the youngest people to run a restaurant in Pennsylvania down at Kreider's in Centerville. And so I know that you can't have equipment in with food and stuff like that. We don't really store food in there, but the park asked us to get the shit out of there. So we did because it was in between our seasons. In the middle of that time, we submitted the first permit for the park. When I did it, I accidentally put it in the floodplain zone. I may work for a bunch of construction companies, but I know nothing what they do. I run their computer. So he ran out this whole network and said, this network, I can do it for you in a blink of an eye. If you ask me how to submit, what to do, I have no clue. So I submitted this first and I actually put it down here and I was like, oh, it's going to be in the middle of nowhere. No one's going to care. There's a bush there. It's going to be sorted in. We're fine. The Porta John usually goes there. Everything's fine. I come to find out that maybe in 1,000 years, this will flood, which I looked around and I'm a little scared because if that floods, every house is going to.
I live there.
Well, protected, and then we went and submitted it. Oh no, then we went to the board because then they said meet with the board. So we met with the board to get approval. They were saying, you know, where do you want it? Where would you like to do it? I said, no, please. Can you please tell me where to put it? Because I want to put it wherever you're going to let me. So then they said, well, yeah, this is where I'd like to put it because it's the minimal anything we're doing. It's on the parking lot. There's no construction. It can be removed if we ever part ways, stuff like that. So there's no real, and it's a small utility shed. It's 11 by 12. There's no electricity. There's no water. There's nothing really in it but the tractor and maybe some dirty sand. So that's what we're trying to get approved. Oh, and then I went and I filled in the permit again. It got approved, but then I guess it hit a trigger for, what was the department?
We gotta get a park board and then.
Yes. Yeah, so if that, city, and now I'm here to ask please for the waiver. I'll be back Monday if I give you approval. And I have a whole story if you want to hear that. We do thousands of parents and kids that we go through your parks and we support them and take care of them, and clean them, and we love the line fields and everything possible. So,
Thank
and I appreciate you guys putting up with me. I mean, Jacob got the last bit of it, but the first part released everybody else like, guys, please just tell me what I need to do.
Just wanted to put a shed.
Shadow.
When you have a floodplain, it can be a little bit.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, if it happened, how many years, I'm like, all right, I'll pay to find the shed, I'll clean it up, I'll do all this.
It's how you impact other properties.
The shed's gonna be crossing over my dam.
You got shed.
Questions from the planning?
Anything else on the TV, you want to see aluminum? There's two teams, I'm the president, you're gonna have a trying to be a good part, I have 5 children. When, you help, yeah, it's possible.
Question, Jacob, what is this shed up at the other side of the parking lot when you come down off the hill?
To be honest, I'm not sure what the other.
It's like a 20 by 15, and it's larger and it's lovely.
Whose is that?
I'm not sure the history on that shed, to be honest with you. I could look into that, but
I have no idea. I truly don't know.
I don't think has it been there?
Jacob, it's probably been there 20 years.
No, it's probably the townships.
So I thought it was ours, there's a gator in there and some just old ladders and stuff. Yeah, because then I thought, should I put stuff in there?
So can't you use that? It's awful.
Yeah, the board also said that we can't share storage areas.
It might be public works shed. I can't confirm 100%.
Yep.
For waiver of filing.
Yeah, the shed is located over a parking lot, so there's not really any stormwater considerations, and that's when it would be a neighbor. In any kind of condition for stormwater.
Would it be anchored so it doesn't float away?
Back.
Yeah, go ahead.
To approve 2026-10 waiver of land development plan for Conestoga Valley Baseball Association, 416 Diamond Drive.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Second by Sarah. Any final conversation? Comments from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have a shed.
So moved.
I thank you for your time.
Just a recommendation.
He's my son's baseball coach. I should have said that in the beginning.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, yeah. Good luck. Good evening.
Next item on the agenda, briefing items, of which we have none, unless something.
One subdivision came in yesterday, not paid for, so I didn't put on the agenda. So.
And we have no other business. So unless we want to continue having a conversation, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.